The life of a criminal is always thought to be a choice, a decision made by someone who wishes to take the easy road in life. Well, I should tell you there's nothing easy about it. The city of Soulbade is filled with the lost, the downtrodden, the forgotten. Yet songs are sung about the mighty guilds that rule the shadows there. The Silent Boot, the Blade Guilds, the Hut of Outcasts, and the Arcane Malefactorum are four houses known to reign over the underworld. Many will lie, steal, and kill just to get into one of the four guilds. And once you're in, many would kill to take your place. To rise from the ruin and the struggle, to be a guild member with a name and a reputation filled with fear and respect. However, everything comes with a price often paid in blood.
Right. Hello, everybody. Tonight we are playing Demon Gate on Blades and Blasters. This is episode 2 of the Blood Money campaign, and tonight we have a couple of newcomers. While the others just joined the guild 4 days ago in game time, these two newcomers will do their intros, and they will also be added to the guild after their test run. I'll be your storyteller tonight and game master, Rogue, and with us is the talented and lovely Maddie, who's playing Halaha. And also, again, we have Aki and Ghost. They're characters from episode 1, Rattles and Ivo. The name I can't pronounce.
Ivo, yes.
Ivo. It has 3 letters, and I can't pronounce it. Ivo. And the mysterious Adeus. I guess that's what we might call him. Played by Dr. Danish. Well, let's get started. You guys see okay?
Yep.
The year is 1379 in the 11th era, the year of the empty throne. Today is the 15th of Torin, in the season of the spring, within the Gothic city of Soulbade. Barter Day is today, for on the 15th day of every month marks a special holiday, a day that represents the month as a whole and brings some hope and peace to the people. Today it brings a mighty festival of trade. Merchants from all over come to sell their wares, and the city becomes a thieves' playground. However, this particular event will go on for several days, in fact, for there is good money to be made. This city is grim. It stands strong within the country of Veldoir. Soulbade looks out over the Sea of Spears, where one might travel east to the far empire of Mianwu and the Emerald Dragon City. A large city of Soulbade is ruled by Lord Valagor, an ancient man said to be wise beyond his years, a great sage who is both feared and respected. Many of the laws within these walls are strict and enforced with heavy tolls. Such are the laws of the Magi. Magic is often only allowed to be practiced by the rich or the qualified. Those with enough reputation to gain an audience with the magistrate in order to gain a license to possess sorcery. There is also a curfew in the late hours where all must be off the streets. Those without proper identification or purpose might be fined for their troubles or worse. The Red Keep watches over the city with a keen eye, and the Red Guard enforce its strict laws. The Guard can be identified by their crimson cloaks. However, in the slums and less savory areas, it is a bit hard to find one when you need one. The red banners fly from every tower, wearing the black cross in its midst. The gray colors of the stone towers match the muddy skies. As the twin suns pass the midday mark, it is warm and humid, yet the winds from the salty sea of spears are enough to cool the gloomy streets. As the water laps the docks, Soulbade is a dangerous city filled with guilds of thieves, cutthroats, pirates, and many others who have done the darkest of deeds. And speaking of which, the camera pans down to one of them now. And we're going to move to Halaha.
Sure. So, Halaha sits inside a fairly dark basement, using a special engraved dagger to pick the dirt from beneath her nails. So the floor was covered in dirt and other various stains. The woman inside radiated beauty. Slick back white hair shone against her gray muted skin. A tight white leather corset covered her figure, leather band braces covering her forearms. As she removes the arm guards, long gashes can be seen against her skin, each looking purposefully placed, not haphazardly cut into her arms. Why am I here, you ask? Have I suffered? No, I have never suffered. At least I do not consider it suffering. I consider it experience. To be plain, both my parents are dead. I did have a good life when they were alive. My father fucked his way from the Crow Wilderness all the way to Thiscard, leaving the comfort of the jungles and being pulled into the darkness where my mother stayed. My mother was an enchantress of sorts. It was the only explanation as to why my father stayed with her for so many years. The only time he departed from her was in death. 4 children the two had together. Me and 3 boys. Revo, Phaeton, and Tevin. Tevin, the youngest, was very precious to me. I helped change his clothes when he soiled himself. I helped feed him when my parents were busy selling their weapons and wares at the open marketplace. He was like a son to me. That is why I never let him out of my sight. Not anymore. Not since he tried to take his own life. But now, he never has to worry. I hold his life in my hands now, as he cannot be trusted with it. Revo, the eldest, died in an unfortunate fire that nearly consumed our whole city, of which I deny having taken part in. Phaeton was my twin brother. As far as I know, he's still alive. At least I hope he is. I pray for the day that I see Phaeton again. Have him in my arms, and have him hold me the way he used to. My parents are both, shall we put this nicely? My mother was fully degloved, and her skin was thrown in malice at my father by a hulking demon that had gotten out of control. Shame it was. She had beautiful skin. My father was gutted and devoured by many other, much smaller demons that had arisen from a soul gate that had formed within our city. Again, not taking any credit for that. I hear her scream sometimes at night. I wish I could have saved him like I did my brother. Many shouldn't be trusted with their own lives. They should put them in my hands. I hope Phaeton never has to find out about what happened. He'll be crushed. And now here I am in Soulbade with my last 2 talents rattling around in my back pouch. It is good thing I possess the Zanfar name. This will make it much easier to make a name for myself and build myself up in the only way I know how I can. And beside Halaha, sitting in the dark, breathing heavily, looks like an armored individual, hood up over his head, a mask on his face, but beneath the mask, beneath the armor, was the very aged flesh, barely still holding together atop a very worn skeleton. And as it sits in the corner, and Alaha continues to continue to clean under her fingernails, that's it for her until she can be summoned.
Nice. And we're gonna move over to Danish's character. And if you are ready, sir.
Yeah, so Adis, he is kneeling in front of a broken altar in an abandoned church. Wind creaks through and breezes through the open cracks and crevices that have been torn away at the foundation. Fervent prayer as he kneels in thick plate armor. And when he's done, he gets up and shakes the cobwebs loose and begins making his way outside. He's used to a life of loneliness. He was an orphan early in life and begged on the streets, but when he was taken in by a local mummer group, he was even alone then, used to carrying the equipment and making sure that they got to performance. He saw a plague in a local city that ravaged the populace and left him alone once again. And without any way to make money, he sought out the priests of Fidruha and made their way through the bodies and mass graves, finding money and anything that he could. And that's when Fidruha's interest, the church's interest, turned their gaze to him. Priests took note and offered to bring him into the church without any other place to go. Adasur agreed. Years of study and work, as well as the duties of a young devout of Fidruha, sharpened Adasur's body and wit while harvesting divine sacrifice in the field. He took note of bodies he failed to get that started to disappear. Lying in wait one evening, he stumbled upon a necromancer who identified herself as Halaha, who had been taking the bodies, which were to be harvested and prepared for Fidruha. As Adasur watched her raise the previously inanimate corpses, he felt Fidruha bless him with guidance. Normally hated and loathed by the church, Fidruha necromancers served Fidruha's ultimate purpose. They were supposed to be the priests of the church, not the current decadent robed figures that were sitting inside their temples. Eventually, he made himself known to the necromancer, and as he did, Fidruha gave him warning. Necromancers were the way forward, and the current priests of the church would do everything within their power to disparage and remove them from the picture. Feeling this warning cross his lips, he spoke out to Halaha, and with that, he confronted the elders of his church, explained how they were on the path to destroying the church with their greed and their wickedness. They became enraged, spat on Adasur, hurled insults, and tried to have him arrested, and with that he fled. Taking Halaha with him, they made their way to Soulbade, and that's where he stands guard over her. one of the true priestesses of Fedruha.
Nice. All right, so after being in the city for a short time, you were both approached by a known figure that slipped you a coin. The coin was strange, unlike you had never seen before. 5 points on it. It wasn't the normal circular coin, but it wasn't meant for spending on supplies or food, but meant to buy your way into a contract. And the meeting would take place on Barter Day in an old church called the Church of Aoset, an old abandoned place, a little similar to the one that you just left. So you were able to meet up with Halaha and make your way to this church. And as you guys found this this is about it's about afternoon, probably not your normal time. It's a little early for you guys probably, but the two suns are high in the sky, and but it's still kind of clouded, uh, dark skies, a little rainy today, but the marketplace is still packed full with people. And you guys find your way into this dark church where also um, Rattles and his companion for the moment, Ivo, you guys were sent to the church with Otep and Yolor. And you were told that you would be given another task today with a couple of new recruits, and that you would be guiding them for their test. You have been to the guild once, maybe twice. You've noticed that the guild it's called the Temple of the Eternal Raven, and it's kind of hidden away, of course. So it's made to look like a pretty average uh, uh, bookstore. Um, and then when you go into the secret back entrance that is well guarded, you find the temple below, and there's many guild members down there. You haven't met nearly all of them at all, but you do know Otep. He's been the only one that's talked to you. You've seen another few. There's quite a few dark elves in there, but you haven't had a chance to meet all of them yet either. So we're going to move to the scene where Rattles and Ivo are first meeting Halaha and the dais. So Halaha and Adeus, you guys enter into this old church. The candles are lit in the back. This place looks very unkept, and a lot of cobwebs, a lot of old rotten wood, but it is still used for secret meetings from the Arcane Malefactorum. And when you walk in, you notice the 4 figures. One very large bog crawl creature that is hooded and dressed as a monk. Otep, this man here, he looks of Espadosian descent, which is kind of like a Spanish descent. He wears his hood and his priestly garb with a strange symbol on his chest, an amulet with an eye, kind of radiating light out of it. And he stands quietly waiting by the candles for you, Halaha and Adeus, to approach. What are you guys doing?
So Halaha, she'd probably take steps in front, taking the lead on this. And as she walks, she doesn't walk very quickly, it's more slowly and precisely. looking around the church, analyzing and guiding and grazing a hand over some of the pews and some of the dust in her fingers as she rubs it between. She does make her way up to the front. She looks to the bog croll and looks to the Espadozen, as they look to be the ones more in charge. Her focus is more on them. Gives a small bow to the two. Says, I hope this is the correct place for our meeting today. And you are the correct people.
The bog-croll doesn't say anything. He doesn't nod. He just stands there very quietly. And Otep steps forward and smiles. He has a very almost porcelain look to his face, very symmetrical and handsome features. And he smiles to you brightly. And this is the place. Halaha, I presume.
Yes, that is me. And of course my companion, Rhinath. And she gestures back towards Edeaser.
I incline my head and step up.
He says, very good to meet you. These are new initiates to the guild. And he waves a hand over to Rattles and Ivo.
And Halaha looks back. Is Rattle looking up? Is he looking down? What's Rattles doing right now?
He would be sitting on one of the pews looking to Otep as he speaks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. Ivo's just kind of quite quietly sitting off from one of the side pews near Otep. He seems to be reading something.
Halaha, her eyes glaze over Ivo, not paying too much mind, doing a bit of a double take on Rattles. A large smile forming on her lips before she quickly turns back to Otep. Are these the ones that we are doing this, whatever it is you need us to do?
Indeed, the Arcane Malefactorum requires a test of your prowess. A simple test, actually. Each one is different for each group, and Ivo and Rattles, they will be joining you today. And he looks over to Yolor and kind of nods to him, and the ogre starts to make his way towards the door. You don't know what he's doing right now, but he says, in the marketplace, there is a man. The Iron Market, the place where they sell slaves and peddle flesh. You will find all kinds of things there, illegal weaponry and magic as well. But we seek something special. He should be a dark-skinned man with a red turban. And he sells rugs, actually. But what he really deals in is illegal potions and magic. He brings them from the desert lands of Azundanal, and we seek a green jelly venom in a vial with a skull top. A very potent poison. It's extracted from a rare jellyfish, a sea creature of great beauty that can kill a mortal with a single touch. We want this stolen from his tent and brought to us by nightfall.
This can be done.
He smiles and he says, it should be a simple task. The merchant's name is Jamek. But do not kill Jamek. We cannot afford for... Well, he has already lost too much. One of his bloodline was killed a few days ago, and that would be too much to bear, and we do not want unwanted eyes upon us. I hope you can understand.
Of course. We will make sure to keep him alive and get the vial you need.
And I hope you can get this item as soon as possible. There are other interested parties involved. It is quite rare. It isn't the poison that's so special, but it can be used in a component in the creation of a much more powerful item. Do not break it, please.
Of course. We will do this for you.
And then he looks to Ivo and Rattles, and he says, once you have found the vial, the green jelly vellum, you are free to bring them to the Temple of the Eternal Raven. It would be good to have such a prominent family such as your own added to our guild. And he nods to Helena.
Yeah, I've...
Go
oh,
ahead.
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, Ivo's been kind of watching pretty keenly since the moment the guy mentioned rare creatures and materials and trade and especially poison and it being used as material to make something better. Ivo, the moment that happened, he kind of closed the book and put it in his pack, and he's been paying close attention ever since. He kind of he actually kind of interrupts. The cellar. You said we must keep them alive?
Jamek, yes, you killed his brother a few days ago.
Ah. Shall keep this one alive, but is there any other issue with us doing as we please along the course of the mission? Or are we meant to be keeping a low profile?
Well, I hope you do keep a low profile. We do not want to bring unwanted eyes upon the guild, but any other targets you are free to kill, of course. Just do not bring them back to the temple.
Of course. Good. Thank you, Hotep. And he gives a nod. There's like when he speaks, there's like kind of no soul in it, right? He's like just going over formalities, basically. It seems like, and then he kind of pulls out a separate little small book, kind of out of his pocket, and takes a small quill and begins to note something down, and then closes it.
Otep seems like he's about to walk off at that, but then he stops and kind of approaches Ivo and says, you have spent many days in the library and studies. Are your studies going well?
It is complicated. I think perhaps I am no match for dwarven, sadly. A talent I do not possess. But my work towards necromancy seems suitable, although slow. We will see.
Yes, Grass, you remember him, my servant. He seems quite interested in the mark. He would like you to meet him once you return to the temple.
Truly. Very well. You can inform him that I will be there as planned.
And he nods, and he kind of offers a smile to Rattles and a nod before he starts to walk off and disappear.
And Allaha turns, looking to the other three. And she looks to Rhinath and says, I know your skill set very well. But you two, she turns her gaze to both Rattles and Ivo, her gaze lingering on Rattles for quite a while. What do you two do?
Oh my. Yeah, Ivo seems a bit distracted. He has another, that kind of similar one he had noted in before. He has that kind of back out, and he seems to be flipping back to something, cross-checking something after that message, that little conversation with Otep. So he's kind of distracted. If you want to go ahead.
Yeah, Rattles would look at Ivo for a moment, seeing that he's turning through pages, and then he looks to Alaha.
I am a potter, carpenter, and occasionally am involved in strong arm robbery.
Allaha looks Rattles up and down, makes steps to approach him to get a closer look. You are quite fascinating, aren't you?
I suppose that could be one word for it.
You're quite, She gets fairly close as Rattles is gonna let her get. And she says, you're quite, exquisite.
You are rather forward, aren't you?
Oh, I can be more forward if you'd like. But we have a mission to do.
Indeed. And perhaps not so much time to do it.
No. I left a companion near the entrance. We should pick them up before we go to this marketplace. Draenath, and she looks over to Adeasar. What are your feelings about these?
It seems like a simple grab and go mission, but things aren't always what they appear.
True.
Yes, Ivo seems to kind of finally take notice, looking up from his little notebook and sliding it back into his pocket. Yes, I think things will be fine enough. My skill set is nothing particularly useful for open combat. I can use a weapon, fine, but, well, we wish to keep a low profile, so my usual tactics might have to wait.
I say if we can find the tent, that will be good. But the merchant must be distracted. And she kind of runs her hand through her hair. I will attempt. See if he's interested.
That seems acceptable. I would cause distraction, but again, the profile.
And it is daytime. It is harder to be more stealthy when the sun is shining.
I suppose. Yes.
I am able to identify some alchemical agents, magical equipments. Along with Ivo, I am certain we can uncover this jelly while you distract your mark.
Oh, yes, I should be able to figure that out quite fine, hopefully.
Good. That's very good. We should head out now so we do not waste daylight.
Very well. Is anyone else peckish? And he kind of looks back to the others as he steps out the door. There's kind of a glint in his eye, and his teeth are looking a bit longer than they were when you first got in here. His face looking a bit more sallow as he kind of heads on out.
I'd rather do the mission than eat. We can eat later, once it's done.
Well, we won't be able to eat later once it's done because we're not killing them, are we? I thought we were supposed to keep him alive.
We are going to keep him alive, Ivo. We will, though. We can get
I
food
see.
after. Do you eat flesh?
He kind of pauses for a moment and continues walking. I think most people do. Meat is good for the bones.
But you are
And the
like
blood.
something else, don't you? She sidles up beside Ivo.
His eyes kind of... He doesn't turn to you fully. It's kind of half askance. But his eyes, you can tell there's kind of a little, kind of a growl, kind of in the back of his neck, just kind of a little... As you see this strange look in his eyes as they kind of shift to a slightly different hue, and he kind of looks you over. He looks a deicer over. Can either of you fight? Well.
Adeasur just nods grimly, and you can hear the just solid metal resounding thunk as his shield hits across his chest. I've been born and bred fighting.
Good. Very well. Well then, I'll expect you to carry me if it comes down to it.
I will do no such thing as that.
I do not have the arm weight for it.
You have two able legs, you'll use them.
Fine. If you wish. He's again kind of flipping through his notes and stuff, haphazard, not paying a ton of attention.
Where is Halaha's servant?
So he's probably standing near the door. He's fully covered, like
Yeah.
head to toe, just clad in various parts of armor, possessing no weapons, it seems, but he does have a cestus on his hand, and he just looks to be standing there idly, not moving, not turning his head.
Is he hot or cold?
I would say he's cold, most likely.
Oh well, seeing as I just was looking at both of you, I immediately looked at this guy, and it's like, hot summer day. The outside is hot, but there's no heat coming from inside. Interesting.
And she would know, like under the... Wow, my voice is cracked there. Did you hear that? She would know how to protect him as well, of course, and like the heavy robes and even the clouded skies protect him from the sunlight. Any sunlight hitting the undead will always burn them. So he's like heavily robed, of course, covered. He's going to follow behind you, or always following your command.
Yeah, as they walk up, he's standing there very idly, fairly still, maybe shifting slightly to the left and right. She looks towards the armor-clad individual and just says, "Devin, come." He wanders over, very close beside her, as she continues to move towards their objective.
And as you guys are making way, it's not too long of a trip to the iron market. Um, ah. As you're passing through some of the locations, small shops and tents are being set up everywhere. It seems like caravans have just come through the streets here, being let in the gate, and they open up the tents of their wagons, the sides of their wagons, and sell stuff right out of their wagons, and open up tents all along the sides of the streets. So lots of exotic goods from all over the different lands. Lots of different races, strange smells, food, animals. People are selling, monkeys and leopards in cages. You notice some of the back alleys, the filth being dumped into the back alleys of the slums as you're passing by. And as you make it into the iron market, you notice a wagon full of, it looks like maybe dismembered body parts, possibly from slaves that were either killed or unused. But you notice there is a slave master, heavily tattooed, bald, human, large, with a whip, standing on a stage and selling what looks to be a female right now. She's kind of scraggly and thin. Doesn't look like she's too well fed, and he's offering her for 10 silver pieces. And he shouts out over the crowd. And as you're making your way through the iron market, what do you guys wish to do here?
Could I make some kind of a roll to assess the value of the slave in question? Like, does it seem worth 10 silver at all?
That would be an appraisal skill, but go ahead and do a
I guess
perception or
probably just
intelligence. Yeah, intelligence work.
Cool. Yeah, because Ivo will need an assistant for his alchemy and shit and bookkeeping eventually. So while he's here, he might as well take a look. Eh.
She doesn't seem worth the 10 silver.
Yeah, Ivo kind of calls out to the slave master as he's looking by. Rattles would probably notice. The others I doubt would, but it's quite odd for Ivo to act up much. He's usually pretty quiet, kind of just follows along and is passive, fairly polite, and a bit secretive here and there. But you saw, like, once you got into the market, this is the first time since you've met him that you've actually seen him smile and look like he's smiling, and not just, doing a, like, oh yes, I'm supposed to smile right now thing, right? It's like seeing the markets and all the weird, bizarre goods just gets him kind of, he's different than usual. He's like a real person almost. But yeah, he'll head over towards the market as the slave guy that's selling the chick. Kind of does it out of nowhere, kind of. We'll see whether the others follow him or not.
Yeah, does anybody else follow him over there? It doesn't take very long to reach him. It's not that far away. As you walk on over there, you notice giant figure. He's a little too big there.
Big dwarf.
Yeah, the dwarf comes out and kind of stands in front of the steps that lead up to the stage where the slave master is, and he says, "You interested in buying?"
Yeah, Ivo kind of looks at him and considers him a bit for a moment. Quiet. It's a little bit of an awkward pause before he then, yes, potentially. I find myself in requirement of an assistant soon for my works.
The slave girl looks over. Underneath her hair, her bangs hanging low. She looks a little bit scared of you, even. I mean, she's being sold as a slave too. Of course, she's scared, but
Yeah.
but looking at you, you know, in your
Yeah,
face.
he's like he just said, he's feeling a bit peckish. He looks a bit more corpseish than usual. I mean, he's not the worst looking. He's got 14 beauty, so he's on the upper side of Atagi, for sure. I mean, first off, he's not a fucking skeletal monstrosity. So, I mean, if anything, yeah, he's a nice looking corpse. He's a respectable. But he definitely is still a Atagi and obviously a corpse eater. So,
The human points to you, the bald slave master, and says, 10 silver.
10 silver seems. He kind of looks the girl over. Surely on this of all holidays, this month, you would negotiate properly, yes? Because surely this young lady. Is she young? I assume so.
Yeah,
Does not seem
she's
quite worth 10 silver. The malnutrition stuff is poor keeping. They don't last as long this way, and well, you won't get as good quality service out of them. But if you were to lower the price, go with something more reasonable, I may consider.
He grabs her by the hair and pulls her head back and opens her mouth with his dirty thumb, and you can see her teeth. And he's like, good teeth. Make me an offer, then.
Let me see. I think he's going to try and... He doesn't want to cut it too low. She's probably not quite worth that much, but he's fine paying a reasonable price. What do you think a reasonable price based on his assessment earlier would be? Or should I do another roll?
You're thinking like 8 silver.
Okay, silver. Yeah, Ivo considers it. 7 silver seems reasonable for this one. Should I go ahead and make a barter roll?
Yeah, go ahead.
He's trying to lowball him a little bit so he has room to move up to 8, obviously. So I'll do a charisma check. Now, I do get to flip a coin because guess whose birthday it is?
Ah.
My boy is born in Toran. So I have Fate Power Lady Luck. During the months surrounding Toran, flip a coin during each deal of negotiation or bartering, and if you land on what you call, you get a plus 3d roll. But if you don't, and you're unlucky, you suffer -1. So I will roll 1d2, and I'll call 1, I suppose.
That sounds good.
Oh, it's a 2, so it's a -1. But we'll see how well this goes. He's not got great charisma. And I don't think there's really anything else I can do to make this any better. No.
Ah.
0.
It's now 20 silver.
Yeah, he's like, 10 silver. 10 silver is the price. And he says, move along. And he kind of like pushes her away from you almost, and starts to look at other buyers if there's any in the crowd.
Yeah, Ivo gives it a moment, and he kind of looks her over a bit. He's not the most empathetic at all. He's, if anything, the opposite. He's thinking kind of more from a value standpoint, right? And the thing is, she's maybe like a couple of silver overpriced, but I mean, he's got the silver from that decent pay before. But he's also thinking, this is a chance to make a better impression too. How's she looking? Is she pretty terrified?
She does look very scared. She's trembling and shaking.
Ivo, I don't know. Is anyone else still over by him?
She
Oh
probably
no,
hasn't.
we're looking out for
Yeah,
her.
they're
We're doing our
off,
job.
but Ivo kind of, when she's not looking, right? There's kind of a bit of a smile on his face as he calls up to the seller. Very well, 10 silver should do.
And you can see he says he kind of ignores you as you start to speak, and he points to somebody else, and he says, the one in the robe. He says, 10 silver to you. And he grabs the girl. Looks like he sold it to somebody else.
Already sold her, yeah?
And as you follow his arm, it looks like he's pointing at Rattles.
Ooh.
Yeah, Rattles will step forward, again, hood drawn, and he'll root around under his robe and reveal a few coins, 10 silver, hand it over. Thank you for your business.
Ivo kind of looks over, a little bit surprised, and walks over. I didn't expect you to purchase one.
It can sometimes be difficult to make pottery all on my own. An extra pair of hands would be useful.
Exactly my thoughts. Very good. And he kind of, you see there's a bit of a, kind of like a look of acknowledgement and kind of a nod and smile on his face. But it's, again, this is kind of fake again, right? This is that, okay, yeah, this is the moment where I'm like, congratulations, you got her. And he kind of just nods and, all right, well, that's over now. Kind of proceeds to get ready to head off almost before she heads over, I assume.
The slave master unchains her and pushes her down. Not hard, not to hurt her, especially after he sold her, but pushes her towards the dwarf, and the dwarf leads her down the stairs, and then they pay her no more mind at all after that. She kind of just walks towards you very shyly, and as she starts to approach you, she is definitely shocked by your appearance. And you can tell she's probably quite worried. She doesn't look like she's been a slave for very long.
Yeah, he will pull her aside.
What is your name?
Mia.
Very good. I have a task for you.
Yes.
And he will, just to shorthand it so we don't spend too much time on it, he's just going to direct her to where he lives and tell her to begin cooking a meal.
The temple or your real place?
My real place.
Okay.
If you are not there when I arrive, I will understand. But it is rather difficult to live in such a place alone as you are. Would you not agree?
And she seems like kind of awe-stricken, that you're willing to, possibly because you're willing to like let her go off on her own, and she thinks of it for a minute and nods very quickly over and over. And yes, I will be there.
Then I will see you, or I won't.
What is your name, master?
Rattles, and do not call me master. I find it distasteful.
Yes, Rattles. And she takes off quickly.
Ivo actually kind of, after kind of, her heading over and hearing them talking, he kind of lingers longer when he was about to head off. Kind of looks to Rattles. Are you sure that is all right? It seems a waste of coin to not make proper use of such a thing.
I am fulfilled in my purchase. What I receive beyond that is a bonus. Besides, your coin was not wasted. What does it matter to you?
He kind of looks up a little bit. You are correct. My coin is not wasted, but kind of looks to you. You are an interesting and useful individual, it seems. It would be quite tragic to lose such an... He looks like he's trying to figure out the correct word. As a friend. Yes, friend. Such as yourself.
Are you expecting to lose me? And are we
Shrugs.
indeed friends? This is news to me.
Well, I am not exactly one for such, well, conversation. I keep to my own, usually. A slave would be useful for directing around without having to deal with. He pauses for a moment, kind of looking to you, then over off in the distance to Laha and Adis or others. I suppose friends will be necessary if I wish to climb the ladder. Don't you think?
If that is your intention, I am more concerned about finding a man with a turban at this particular moment.
I suppose you are correct. We should get on with the job, yes. We have plenty of time for pleasure shopping after. Perhaps I will find a younger one. It'll last longer.
Rattles nods and gives a passive look around to see if he sees a red turban. I have observation, I think, actually.
Yeah. I will go around and start helping him look. He'll keep an eye out at the market, see if any interesting alchemical stuff pops up that's out of what would normally be available. But or any slaves that look like they'd be useful for work as an alchemical assistant or something like that. But other than that, he's helping Rattles out now.
Yeah, you can see that they're definitely Halaha. As you guys are looking around, you haven't yet seen the red turban-headed man. There are a lot of different tents, and probably just haven't gotten the angle right. You make your way around the Iron Market, and it's kind of a maze of tents set up and wagons and stuff. So, and with the new caravans pulling in, there's just a lot of people, overly crowded. No one's social distancing at all.
While that's happening, and she looks over and she spots those kids who seem to be looking out. She looks over and she smiles to one of them, and she makes a Kamehameha gesture with one of her fingers, try and get him to come over.
Do you notice the street urchins? They're kind of yeah, they definitely look like they were maybe casing you guys out. You look like you might hold some money more than the regular people around here. And when you point to them and kind of wiggle your finger, can you make a charisma check?
Sure. Just a basic charisma. Gotcha.
He looks kind of scared at first. He stops, like he gets struck by a bolt of lightning for a second, and then then you see him take off down an alleyway.
She sighs. She looks to Adeaser and says, "But you're going somewhere that's not so easily accessed by children."
Yeah, that's a good
Careful.
point. I should note that Ivo's is in his shoes and shit. And his undies.
Already done.
Um,
Seem to be very alluring today.
I'm always alluring. Adeaser, I don't know what you're talking about. And she puts a hand on his face. I have some smirk before looking over at some of the other merchants. We should ask around, see if we can get information. Maybe pay a coin or two. This will make it easier than our eyes just looking.
Where you go, I go. You know, I'm not very good at talking to people.
It's fine, you're good at other things. And
Agreed.
she looks around and she tries to maybe spot someone who maybe another street urchin, maybe someone who's a bit dirtier, someone who might need the money, that sort of thing. Try and get them in her employ.
You do notice another dark elf who's kind of leaning against the wall, watching people pass by. He's got a short bow strapped around him, a couple of bone knives on his belt. He looks kind of like a local. Maybe and he shares the same tongue as you.
She looks over and wanders over to him. Says, hello there, brethren. How are you?
And he seems very impressed, like to see you here. Maybe surprised at first, and he says, "Ah," and he's speaking in Elven, of course, Anath in the Hall. If you guys have that language, he says, "Koto, at your service."
Allah, and I'd hope you'd be at my service. See, I'm looking for a man. And she'll describe a dark-skinned man with a red turban. And we do know his name.
Jamek.
Jamek, and that he sells, I think he said, like, rugs, and such. And she says, if you can find this man, I will give you a gold talon once you come back to me.
A gold talon, you say? He raises an eyebrow. And he says, "I'll be right back, madam."
I'll be here, Goto.
He takes off, footing it really quickly.
She just leans against the wall and smiles at Raina. There's no reason to do all the dirty work ourselves. It's just too busy. And since the other two seem to be shopping, well, they don't have anything to prove now, do they?
It looks like the bony one decided to join us.
Yeah, Rattles would approach as you guys are on the wall. Any luck locating our mark yet?
Soon, hopefully. I've paid someone to spot him for us.
How much?
A gold talon. Seems he was excited.
You may be able to speak with the guild to have them reimburse you, if this bears fruit.
Good.
You notice a few guards walking by. There's 4 of them huddled together. They're pushing through people, and looks like they're looking for somebody. As they make their way past, they glare over at you all for a moment. See if they bother you at all. One of them stares for just a moment, but they do not. They pass by, and it doesn't take much longer before Kodo appears. Running with a smile on his face, he approaches, and he says, "Madame, I have found the red turban, and the man Jamak. He is right down this alleyway."
Can I make some sort of perception check or something to see if this boy's lying?
Detect lies.
Don't
Yeah.
have that.
Yeah, you can do percent.
I will do perception as well.
Oh my.
Because down an alleyway, yeah.
I mean,
It's a bit sus.
sadly, I was not over there. He's got good perception. He's busy looking at books.
To Halaha, he seems right on Like, oh, he's telling the truth. To Rattles, you might be a little suspicious of it, but you can't really tell if he's lying or not.
Yeah, do I pick up that Halaha seems pretty accepting of that answer, that the guy that we're looking for is down the alley?
Yeah, she would actually start to get herself off the wall and start to follow him to make her way.
Yeah, as she's going to move forward, he'll actually approach Edisir and probably grab him abruptly. Maybe not something that he would particularly like to have happen to him, Edisir. And he would say,
Your mistress appears a bit trusting.
And he seems shocked at first and says some kind of dark elven curse word.
"Oh no, I'm grabbing Edisir. I'm not Kodo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm grabbing Danish."
Sorry. All right, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Adisir looks down to Rattles' hand and looks back to him. Yes, but if her folly leads her into trouble, that's what I'm here for.
Then you should make ready for trouble. You can never trust one of this man's nature. He appears a fleece to me.
I believe that you are probably a better gauge of that than I am.
And he will remove his hand from Edisir's arm.
Apologies for the abruptness. But be prepared, my good man.
And he will make to follow Halaha.
And yeah, Adisir does the same.
As they're walking, Halaha looks to Kodo, says, "Once we have him in sight, I will pay you then."
He smiles and he looks over his shoulder back at you and nods. I trust you, milady.
Us kin must stick together in a city full of humans.
Indeed. And he seems quite happy at the moment and takes you around a corner, around a bend, to a... there are, in fact, several tents lined up down the alleyways. It might be a place that Rattles might have sold, some stuff before. Kind of that same kind of like off the main. You get kicked out by the big merchants, so kind of off the main stretch there. And you notice this multicolored tent top with many rugs. And Kodo looks back and he says something in Dark Elven again, in the manner of, he seems quite busy today.
I'd assume so, considering, well, I've heard his rugs are fairly beautiful, and I need something to tie my room together.
And he smiles, of course. And he puts his hand out as he looks back over to the guy. You can see the red turban-headed man sitting under the tent, kind of fanning himself. A little creature on his shoulder.
And she, of course, pulls out her coin purse and slips the gold talent into Kodo's hand.
Now, maybe later I can find you again. I'm sure I'll have much more work if you, well, since you prove so useful.
He smiles and he bows. Of course.
And she looks to Rattles.
You should go find Ivo. Tell him where this is. I will start my interaction with Jamek and see if I can persuade him to leave.
I will return shortly with the alchemist. And he will turn and begin to head back to where he last saw Ivo.
And where is Ivo?
Yeah, Ivo's still kind of wandering the market. He's keeping an eye out for anyone with the turban or, just in general that matches the description of Jamek. But he's been quite distracted. He's, since birth, quite enjoyed Barter Day and such. Which, is this Barter Day or is Barter Day coming up and they're prepping?
Yeah, Barter Day is today. But
Okay,
it will
yeah.
last a few days. They kind of, extend it for several days.
Yeah.
Money making.
So he's actually he's getting a little bit lost in it, and you find him probably looking over either alchemical ingredients, more slaves, or most likely books. As he wanders the market, seems quite contented.
Yeah, we'll say you could possibly pick up quite a few components in this market here.
Ooh.
It's we'll say you probably pick up some, huh? Then?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he'd we can figure it out, like, of course, off session, but he definitely spent some time actually buying stuff while he's here. He's got his bonus from his trade thing, from this being his birth month, from Lady Luck, so he'll be using that a lot. Definitely want to try and get some savings, do some stuff. But for now, yeah, he's probably picked up maybe a book or two. He's hoping to get a slave soon.
Yeah, you see that there's plenty of slaves too. The guy has a dark-skinned human. Looks well built and from the Vazoon Danal, possibly a hunter type. He has a child. He has another female. She looks like she might be pretty good looking, red-headed female with a scar across her face. And he hasn't brought the rest out, of course. There's more later, but
Interesting.
you notice he has a pet too, like a dark panther. It's in his wagon, and it's guarded by several of his mercenaries. And that's when you see Rattles appear in the crowd.
Yeah, Ivo's kind of looking from the side of the stand, perusing. He seems to be kind of settling between one of the women and one of the children. Which one would be more useful for alchemy? Well, do they need to be able to lift supplies? Maybe I should get two. Yeah, going on and on and on. Yeah, no, because why would he ever get a guy? Because that's anything pleasant to look at. And he's a total fucking scumbag. Are you kidding me? But yeah, he continues to look and peruse as Rattles approaches. He finally takes notice.
Yeah, Rattles would approach and he'd look to Ivo. We found him. Let us go. Allah is already speaking with him to gain his attention.
Ah, very good. That seems appropriate. Well, let us go. We should see about this distraction, yes? If it doesn't work out with her.
Depending on his tastes, I have a feeling that it will work out just fine. But we must move quickly.
He kind of seems to consider something. And turns. You go. I'll meet with you soon. We need a distraction, yes? Halaha is trying her part, but perhaps you will have another opening.
What is your plan, Ivo?
He smiles. We will see. Depends on what's there. And he kind of heads off, kind of opposite direction of where you were about to take him. And out of character, I was going to kind of head towards the opposite end of the entire bazaar. and I want to use Ignite to kind of start a spiral. Somewhere that isn't going to spread as bad as most of the other areas, but something that'll nonetheless freak people out and get a ton of attention over there. So he'll just cast Ignite from a shadowy alley and then kind of walk back into the crowd.
Okay.
If that works with you, should I roll stealth?
Yeah, do a
Or
concealment.
conceal, actually,
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. Which I don't think I've either. Let's find out. He's gonna try. He's gonna try and be sneaky.
You light up somebody's tent next
Probably
to a stone wall.
something like that. One of the more isolated ones, but basically he's looking for somewhere that's not going to wipe out the whole market, just like a small section. And I mean, if maybe some of the stuff on the way back to Rattles is a bit open, and maybe the merchants are a bit too distracted and they don't notice some stuff missing, we'll see what happens. It depends on this roll. Oh, I forgot I have a fucking button that does it all. Skills, concealment. Oh, it just has the ones I have. Okay, so it would be attribute perception, right?
Yeah.
Okay, my perception's decent. I need to put points into concealment. Because he's got baller perception.
You find a what's it look like? You find a spot. You believe you are very hidden at the moment. Like there's
Yeah,
not.
he thinks he's pretty good. He kind of gets around. There's several stacks of boxes, some rugs and stuff, all piled up near one of the entries to the market. And he kind of gets back around the side of one of those and starts casting his little incantation and sets the back of the tent ablaze so that he has time to walk away before anyone sees actual fire, right? So he kind of gets back there and lights that and just walks off, and surely enough, not very long later, I assume there's noise as the fire starts to spread very quickly up the cloth.
Yeah, it sounds like it starts pretty quick too. Like you're just turning the corner and you hear, "Oh, by the gods, fire!" And you hear people shouting already, and get the water, water! It sounds like the merchant might have been in the tent sleeping or something, and some ruckus begins, and people start to run over there. Not a lot of pull from like the main place, but there's enough to cause a situation and people's attention to be switched over there, and back over to the tent with Jamek. The fire hasn't just started yet, so Halaha, what would you like to do with Jamek? He's sitting there.
Yeah, she looks at Rhina and looks at Tevin. The two of you stay here. I will attempt this. I don't know his taste, but usually it's me. And she will start making her way over to Jamek. And his wares are out, right?
He has the tent kind of like set up in this picture almost, right? Where he's sitting here basically, and there's like the table with many rugs and stuff. He also has a door behind him that goes into a darker area where he might have other things placed and stored. So it looks like he's hiding some stuff in another tent behind him, you know. Somebody could though sneak into it if they were stealthy like, but as far as his wares up front, it's all rugs. There's like nothing amazing, no potions and stuff like that. He's got some incense burning, and he's got a little like a little monkey on his shoulder. Is that what that is?
I think so.
I thought it was a cobra for a second, but I
No,
see
I think
that's
it's a
actually
monkey.
a thing
It's a
underneath.
monkey.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a monkey.
Cute.
Yeah. Adorable.
And
I
he
just said
says,
pet monkey.
he says, "God be with you." To the
God
God
be
be with you. And you notice someone buy something from him. It doesn't look like they bought a rug at all. It looks like they might have bought something else, some kind of plant in a baggie. And he says, "The gods be with you, friend." And then that guy walks off, and then he looks over to you.
And she walks up to Jamek and gives him a very sweet smile as she does, and looks down at the rugs and looks back up to him. Do you make these yourself, or are these from strange and untouched lands that one such as I could never imagine?
And your physical beauty is
18.
Yeah. He stops and he's immediately his green eyes are like wide. They flash for a second, but then it seems like he might be attempting to hide his interest, and for just a moment, and he says, "Yes, from the desert lands of Azundanar. This is not all that I have, though, of course."
No. And she leans over a little bit, one of maybe the stands or anything like that to more expose herself a bit more. She's leaning. She says, "What else do you happen to have?"
And he looks past you for a minute. Is Adeus back there, like watching?
Yeah, he's a short distance away.
Okay, and a strange dark robed figure, and then he looks at you and he says, "Do you deal in the dark arts, my lady?"
She gives him a small smile. "I have read some books about dabbling, but legally I can say no. Of course I haven't."
He smiles and he says, "Haha, oh, I like you. Well, I have potions and powders that might interest you. But if you're in the mood for something more fearsome, I have that as well."
It depends. I would be very interested to find something quite fearsome and foreign as well, though I feel as though I'm looking at one of those things now.
And he raises both eyebrows and, "Oh, you are interested in what you see?"
It depends if you are interested as well to do some dealings.
Of course. Of course. And he kind of shifts around, like, almost uncomfortably. You can tell he's not used to anybody coming on to him at all.
And she says, "Well, and she kind of looks back at her entourage and says, "These do not worry. Someone such as me, of course, it pays to have a little protection just in case while I'm doing some shopping."
Of course, it makes sense for some beautiful as you to have bodyguards. And speaking of which, Rattles, go ahead and make a perception, and Adeus, can you make a perception as well? You would just...
Observation work.
Yeah, that works. Click on your token and attribute, and down perception. You can just click on that and no modifier. All right, Rattles, you notice someone is, as you're starting to like make your way over there a little bit, you notice the tent flap kind of move, and then you notice a small figure run off, hauling ass down an alleyway. It's a goblin, and he has something in his hands, like a bag, that he has taken from the tent of Jamek.
Ooh. Rattles is gonna kind of put two and two together because during that, when they were talking about what they needed at the temple, they mentioned that other people were interested in this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll look to Adisur. He'll point to the goblin running, and he came from the tent, and he will start to take off after the goblin. Rattles will.
And Halaha has her undead boy there, right?
He's right beside you.
Okay, I'm going to just say, Priestess, I'm going after that. And I turn around and run, following Rattles.
She turns around and looks at Jamek. I'm assuming that she knows. She'd probably know that Rhinath wouldn't just leave her if it wasn't important. So she looks over to Jamek and she kind of leans over the counter. Is he within like grabbing distance?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, she kind of grabs him almost by the hood and brings him up and gives him a very deep kiss before letting him go.
I apologize. I must run. Unfortunately, it looks like my bodyguard has spotted someone who might be coming after me. I will be back.
And she starts to just depart with that and take Tevin with her, following Rhinath.
And at about that same time, Ivo, you have
With no idea.
You've come into the alleyway, and you notice Halaha take off running down an alley, and her minion following behind.
Amazing.
They're
Yeah.
all leaving the tent of Jamek, who's like, he had no idea that anything had even happened in his tent, and is totally enthralled by Halaha right now. So he's like reaching for her almost as she runs off.
Yeah, Ivo doesn't head straight after them or towards Jamek. He kind of heads around. Does Jamek seem pretty busy now, like distracted by the whole situation, a bit depressed? Gonna staying around out there?
He doesn't leave the tent area. He's just kind of like hands
Interesting.
outstretched.
Okay, yeah, Ivo kind of goes past and around back to kind of see. Does it look like there's an opening or anything? Is it pretty easy to just pull it open and get in there, under, or?
It doesn't look like it's easy to.
Ooh,
You would probably have to cut it open, or be tiny enough like a goblin to sneak up into there.
Yeah, and the distraction from the fire didn't spread super far, right?
No, you can hear the shouts behind you. People are
The
looking
guards
in
are
your
all
way.
over there.
Yeah.
Okay. So he'll kind of get up behind the tent, and he is going to. Let me see. What do I have? I've got those. Okay. The dust of entanglement. How does that work?
When you throw it, the target that it hits spreads, starts up around creatures in the area.
Oh, okay. So if I were to set some of that in the main doorway, if I like kind of cut my way in very quietly, and then set some of that in the doorway, and someone were to step into it, or would I basically be able to set it so it'll pop off and basically grab them if they trigger it, like a trap, basically?
Yeah, you could do that, but sneaking by him would be difficult to set up a trap, like while he's sitting there.
Yeah, because I was thinking if I go around back of the tent, cut my way in, and set it kind of in the doorway of the thing, behind him, right? So inside.
Yeah.
So if I cut in through the back and set one there, but he might just be better off just looking for stuff and throwing that if needed. Which
Yeah,
I think that's what he'll do.
Yeah, the back of the tent is not really open to access. It's kind of like the side of it, you know what I mean here? Like there's this
Oh,
much
yeah.
space, and then there's the wall back there. Uh, of a building. So,
Mm.
because this is an alleyway, so you would have to like sneak under this or cut a hole in the side of it and then sneak in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so
Uh,
he's literally like right there, basically, and
yeah,
I've got to get there.
he's sitting there and he's front of the doorway,
Okay, I thought it was
and
a bit more exposed.
and
Yeah,
across the alleyway is
there's
where your
people.
companions have taken off running.
Okay,
So
yeah,
he'd be like right here.
interesting. It's a shame we have to keep him alive. Because I was like, man, there's so
He's
many
my
ways I
new
could make money
simp.
out of
Keep
this.
away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Actually, Ivo, he's a clever son of a bitch. Jamek's still kind of there, and he'll approach then. He spends a moment kind of looking over the building, assessing like, well, should I go in? And he looks at Jamek. He sees the ways he's looking after Halaha, and he heads over. Are you all right, sir? It seems you are quite distressed over that woman being in danger.
And he's still staring at her running.
Is she going to
Did it-
die?
a beautiful woman, a dark elf. Did you see her?
Yes, indeed, I did. Who seems distressed. She seems in danger almost. Or running towards it, perhaps. Why, do you think she'll be all right?
I hope so. She has several bodyguards with her. Well, anyway, what can I help you with? Are you
Oh,
looking
well.
for some rugs?
You sell rugs then, do you?
Of course, I sell many things.
Well, what do you sell aside from rugs?
He looks you over for a minute and he's kind of contemplating on where to take it. But
Should I do the flip a coin for Lady Luck?
yeah, if you want to.
I think that'd be interesting, just to see if that influences it somehow. Or I did a D3. Sorry.
D4, yeah, D2. What are you gonna
Shit.
call, 1 or 2?
Yeah, I'll call 1. Hey, it's a +3. Yeah.
Hey. So as the
He's
coin flips and lands to your favor, he says, I have other things that you might be interested in. And then we'll flash over to
Yeah,
the
yeah.
chase scene that's about to go down here.
Sorry.
Actually, can we take a quick 5?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Alright,
For sure.
bio break.
My Camtasia crashed. That's
Same.
recording.
I'm not using Camtasia. I'm using OBS.
Well, I
CPU.
tried using Camtasia. It didn't go well.
Oh, shame.
I'm gonna have to figure out what the fuck is wrong with my aspect ratio and shit. Oh,
It's
man.
pretty
Sorry
easy to
for like
fix.
being so fucking. I was just like fucking
You're
off
fucking
on his own. I
around?
don't know what it is.
You're
The
fucking
moment I
around.
play
It's
him-
you. You're choosing
Well,
to make him fuck around.
He's just well, but that's the thing.
I
is
don't know what's going on. You're playing him.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Is I'm saying when I play him, it's just that's how he is. The thing is, he is also awkward and cold-blooded.
Guess who also
So
took
he's-
that trait? Me.
I mean,
Yeah.
would you almost say that he's
You're awkward?
like?
No, I'm cold-blooded. I'm not awkward. What the fuck are
Oh,
you
okay.
talking
I was
about?
gonna say. I was like, that doesn't make any sense.
Oh no, she's cold-blooded.
What were you saying, Danish? Sorry.
Would you say that he's lizard-like, Aki?
Oh, fuck you.
Sickly sweet.
Oh no. But no, yeah, he's a total bastard. Yeah.
So Jaxus.
But he's
gotcha.
super awkward.
Yep.
He's not good in conversation. He's not meant to be. Jaxus at least was eloquent and shit. This guy's clever, but he's gonna fuck it up constantly. 'Cause he's not
Don't
actually
let
good
my
at
guy
talking.
talk.
Oh, we need you to talk though. We want you to
We
talk.
need you to
still.
talk.
Just
We
in
need to have
general.
conversations with you.
I have a
You're kinda
charisma
quiet.
of 4. Don't let
Oh
my guy talk.
God, you're
Oh,
so-
this is reminding me of D8. Oh man, D8 had started with I think D8 technically started with 1 or 2 because I had managed to figure out a way to technically get it that low before character creation, but then during character creation get it back up to the minimum, basically, so that I could save the points. Oh no, it was a minus to charisma
second.
afterwards.
I
Yeah.
think I have a full bonus. I might actually have a 19 PB. 1 second. I ask Rogue.
Well,
Just because I have a trait, like, I'm half, but the thing is, I also have a trait that's basically, which is half-blooded, which
Check it.
The only thing that it does, you're getting
It
away
lets
with the
you
trait
choose
of
one of the
racial
other traits,
abilities.
yeah. Yeah, you can swap one basically.
This can even be used for those who are already playing. So I could technically be like a quote unquote full-blooded what is it, shadow elf, but I just have to take one ability, which means I get full bonuses from
Oh,
being,
interesting.
yeah, that's how I'm reading, because I mean it's 10 saga,
Huh?
so it's huge.
Oh,
Yeah,
That's a big one.
interesting.
so I gotta ask about that, because that means I have higher PB, which means I have a +2 or either +2 or +3 to my seduction skills,
Nice.
which is a big thing right
Fortune,
now.
Mac. I have a feeling this is gonna go very poorly.
Ah,
Alright, I'm back.
my simp.
Yep. Gonna have Jamek commission feet portraits of
Yep.
Falala's feet.
God.
Amazing.
If he pays me, let's do it.
Well, I'm basically gonna ask it. Like, if he's selling sketchy stuff, I'm gonna try and use some of the sketchy shit and just knock him out and leave.
But what? Oh
Yeah.
my goodness, that's dumb.
He doesn't know that we're
Yeah,
chasing what
that's
we
true.
probably need,
You have no idea.
Yeah, Ivo doesn't
and
know.
he's also a
Ivo.
thieving, conniving prick.
Well,
so-
he's looking to get extra money. Is really he figures you guys have gone off after that or something similar, but you guys have kind of run off on your own. You didn't grab
Yeah,
him,
because
so he,
you left.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
You guys have run up
he
on
was
your own.
helping.
Hold on.
You weren't helping. You're shopping.
You guys ran off on your own. Now wait a minute. We'll
Did
check
you
the
not?
tape. We'll check the tape, but I
He
distinctly
told you,
remember about 15
I will be
minutes
right there.
ago,
I will meet you at the place.
Yeah,
You guys
Circumstances
ran off on your own.
changed.
You weren't there.
you're like, oh, I have to go do this one thing, and left. You didn't bother
Yes.
telling anyone what you were doing. It's like, no.
Circumstances changed.
No, I
If
didn't
you
even
had
end up
been
being big enough on
there-
fire.
Then you would have known the circumstances changed.
Mhm.
Well, it's true, but it's not his fault either.
Yes, it is.
How?
You
That you
went
guys ran off,
shopping.
that a goblin was in the tent and took the thing and ran off, and you
went
guys followed him.
shopping when we're
Yeah,
on a
We all
job.
went shopping. Well,
No, I didn't
Guild-
go shopping. Rhina
Guild,
didn't go
guild
shopping.
membership is just one piece of Ivo's plan to take advantage of everybody. And
He is basically.
Mhm.
that's all it is.
He's such a fucking bastard. He's so goddamn greedy and self-interested.
Jaxus, is that you?
Yeah.
Oh no,
Um,
he's
what-
worse than Jaxus. Jaxus at least had a
Jaxus
cause.
2.0.
It was a
but-
fucked up cause, and it was like this weird supremacist shit. But
But
he's just a scumbag.
if Ivo's not Lizard Hitler, he's not worth Jaxus. But I kind of wish I had taken, because I think I could have taken a different creative skill. I could have taken art,
Oh
and
my
then
Oh my god.
we could have absolutely done the you know,
Halaha foot picture.
circa 1400 Demon Gate
Yeah.
OnlyFans.
It's not too
Can we
late.
please commission that? You imagine how much money a fucking
We'll
weird
have,
ass
we'll have
like,
FE
D&D
commission
OnlyFans.
Halaha feet pictures.
There you go.
Amazing.
There we go.
30 gold, so much money.
This is an idea. Hey,
No, I'm not gonna meta it. Maybe next time.
All right, back to it.
sorry.
All right, let's see here. I'm gonna try to arrange this. There we got. The thief is a quick little goblin bastard. I believe Adeus is closest behind him, and then it's
Rattles is.
Rattles.
Rattles took off first.
Unless
Oh,
Rattles
Rattles
is
first.
slow.
I'm surprisingly quick for being as big as I am. I have 8 run, 15 decks.
And
Not bad.
Vialaha and Ivo is trying to rob a store.
Oh my.
Which is
I love it when I throw a kinky point. Sorry.
very dangerous.
I almost ran off, but then I thought I could get him to chase after her to protect her, but I forgot she had bodyguards. And the conversation turned around.
I mean, because if you think of it, he's got a shop. He's got to have some levels under his belt.
Yeah, he's not completely derpy.
I think and you're yeah,
Well,
just to warn you.
It's
Just
a
to
good
warn you.
chance to see what he's got anyway.
I mean, if
Yeah.
you're
He's
like
not planning on trying to fight him.
it would be
That's
like yeah, it would be
no, he's not gonna do it.
obvious. You know what I mean? That it would be a dangerous thing, of course. But
Yeah, that's why he's scouting it out right now. He's going in. He wants to see what the situation is in here, what the guy has. Maybe he has some kind of rare thing you'll show him, and he'll be like, "Oh, how does this work? Oh, let me try it. Oops, I knocked you out. So sorry. Let me take all your shit now."
yeah, if you can get the drop
Um,
on him, it'll be good.
yeah, but
All
ideally,
right.
I mean, if it depends.
All right, Chase.
We're ready. There you go. Move you guys over to this. So, you notice this goblin, he kind of looks familiar. You believe you've seen him before. As he kind of glances back for a moment, you notice those eyes, and you remember being in the Ashen Hall in that tavern and him nodding to you as you walked into the tavern looking for Jamek's brother the other day. That looks very similar to this guy. So he glances back and he sees you. And then you see him jump up onto a wagon and dive off, cutting down to another side alley. So you're taking chase. Go ahead and make a dexterity check, unless you have a running skill.
I do.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
What?
It's not much help. But, oh shit! I should have used that. I'm wondering if that's before or whenever. Let me see. Oh, it's before rolling. Never mind. Can't do it because I have
What
endless.
was it?
I have endless toil. I could have rolled d6 on that additional from class abilities, but it's before rolling, so I can't. Oh, never mind. Strength checks, body checks. I'm wrong. Never mind. Disregard.
Okay. As you cut down the corner, you can see him moving so damn fast, and he rolls underneath a wagon as it passes by, and then like you almost lose him for a second, and then he's dashing down another alley. And then Adeus, go ahead and make your dexterity check as you click on your token attributes, and you can find the dexterity one there. No modifiers there just yet. So
Doing
you're
real
These
good.
fives.
both, yeah,
Wow.
and Halaha also.
Is it possible? Is there like a straightaway that we've like seen him? That it's just straight enough that maybe she can cast a spell at him?
Not yet, but you're hoping to get that. And as you guys are running through the streets, like you're barely, just seeing him as a glance for a moment before he disappears behind either people or a wagon or cuts around a corner. So you're still running at the moment. Go ahead and do one more, but this one is going to be a modifier of -1 because he's beating you guys right now. Rattles is catching up on this area. You could have a chance to do something here. You can see him, he's quite far off, but I mean, you could throw or something like that if you, what do you want to do?
Yeah, if I've got something nearby I can throw, I'll just grab, like, pick up a rock, brick, something that's loose, and just fling it at him. I don't have any training in throwing, but it's better than nothing. If nothing else, I can try to continue keeping pace.
Yeah, you see some pottery, and you see, also, you could pick up a rock next to the wall.
Yeah, I'll as I'm running, I'll try to snag a rock and then just fastball it at him.
Okay. Go ahead and do that. Then. Just roll a d20.
-3.
If you don't have throwing, yeah, it's -3.
Not bad.
What does that look like?
Yeah, so Rattles, as he's kind of got a clear straightaway, not many people in an alley, he scoops up a decent sized rock that just happened to be on the ground and just fastballs it towards the back of his legs, because he's probably short, not much meat on his bones. A good solid hit there might trip him up.
The damage on that would be a d10 plus your damage modifier. Oh, no, sorry, not a d10. It's a d6 plus your damage modifier.
Should I do my D100 to see if I'm more affected by the disease today? Because that's going to determine my strength mod.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
So it's severity 6. I am afflicted. So it's going to be just a D6.
Okay.
2.
All right, so it nicks him. It slows him down a little bit. He stumbled, but not enough to knock him to his feet, off his feet. And we're gonna put. Actually, if you guys can make a target number of 6 on another dexterity check, put it on the map here. See if you can get him.
-1 mod.
Yeah, -1 mod.
There you go.
Deus,
All right.
you got him.
Adeus is able to cut him off down an alleyway. So we're gonna move it over. Alright. Putting you guys all over the place here. Alright. Adeus, you see your miniature right there?
Yep.
Okay. Put him here, and go ahead and do initiative.
I'm guessing Tevin's gonna go on my turn, right?
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay.
And Halaha, what will you want to do on this?
I just gotta Control F and look him up for a hot second just to see his stats. Here it is. Okay, so he moves at the same speed as me, thank God. So I think he's over there. I don't know if I have don't have a direct sight line. So I'm gonna move up 6 here. 1, 2, 3, 6.
Yeah.
She runs up there.
Mine's actually 1 higher due to my aggressive trait.
Oh, you're okay. I'm gonna change it to 7. And basically, you're able to like see him and spot him cutting down that alleyway. And you notice Adeus is kind of looking in the direction of him. But
yeah,
go ahead.
Does he look like he's gonna cut left or right?
Adeus assumes that he's coming this way. Yeah.
Okay, so she's going to do a double move to get kind of towards more over here. There's not a lot she can do because I don't think she'd have a license for sorcery. So, to be
Right.
obvious, it's not a good thing. So, yeah. Tevin's gonna move up right beside her.
Okay.
Just right on her heels, basically.
And you don't see him from there.
That's fine.
So you're gonna try to cut him off.
Yeah.
Adeus might, give you the nod or whatever in that direction. It's up to you, Adeus. What are you doing?
I'm going to see this little shit here. I'm gonna point at him and I'm gonna say, "Stop right there if you value your life."
And he's like mid-run, and he's like glancing at you kind of in slow-mo. And it does not look like he's gonna try to stop at all. He's just trying to book it for his life with that bag over his shoulder.
All right, then. Okay, let's see. What's my move?
You have a move next to your dexterity. It shows a 3, but you can run 6 hexes.
Okay, can I fit in between this little space here? Or
It does look like a tight fit. You can make a dexterity check. Target number 4.
okay.
That's for it to like unhamper
Nope.
your.
Oh boy.
So for a moment you get stuck, and that probably hampered, cut your movement down to half. So you can go 2 more spaces from that.
Okay. I'm gonna squeeze through, pop out, and then I'll get right there.
You want to try
Yeah.
that? Yeah, what would you want to do?
If he's gonna run, can I? I've got my stone hammer. Can I throw it at his legs?
You can.
All right. I've got throwing, so if I hit, let's see if I
Nice.
can hit.
So 1 action to take the hammer out. The second action is to throw it at him.
Yeah.
So you can click on that, and you should be able to click attacks and stone hammer,
All right.
and then 1 action if it asks. Oh, it's a beautiful throw. He's got to match or beat it basically on his running. And he does not. So now you go to damage.
All right.
You
There's
can click on
that.
your stone hammer and just enter and enter.
Oof.
14 damage. So what does it look like as you take his legs out?
So, it's kind of like those shot put throws. You just kind of spin around, and I just huck it right at his legs, taking them out underneath them. There's a resounding crack as it echoes throughout the alley, just probably shattering his legs at the kneecaps.
Yeah. And he slides up to against the wall too, and you don't think that he's got much strength in him at all. Like, he looks really messed up, laying on the ground. His leg probably fractured. It is Rattle's turn.
Rattles is going to just kind of bowl past people as he's pushing through. I'm less going to try to slide through the gap and more just gonna take whatever pain it is to try to force my way through it. I don't know how sturdy this building construction is, but I'm just gonna try to bowl through it basically and get through. So I don't know what that's gonna be for.
It would be the same thing, like dexterity check, target 4, or if you're not even going to try to squeeze, it would just cut your movement down to half.
Alright, fuck it. Did it.
Cool. So you have your full movement.
I think I can get to here from where I was with a run. And, yeah, I can't get any further than that, so Rattles will look at the goblins.
Don't try to get up. You won't get away.
And that'll be it. I can't really get to him.
All right. You notice he stops moving, and he kind of grabs the bag and holds it to himself. And you see he's like saying something in his own tongue and kind of praying almost. And he's like, don't take it from me, please. They'll kill me. They'll kill me. Alaha, what are you gonna do?
So can I get control of Tevin so I can move him with me?
Oh yeah.
Thanks. So she's going to move 2, 4, 6. So she's gonna run in this way.
Actually,
Yeah, and he's gonna
have-
run in because he was up there, I think. Yeah,
I'll
so
put him right here with you.
yeah, so she gets there and comes squeezing beside this guy here, not paying any mind at all to him. She says, "Drop the item, or else, please."
He looks totally afraid now. He seems to be cornered, and he's like, "They will kill me, please."
I will make your death much worse if you do not keep it over. Now.
And, he looks at his leg for a moment, and takes the bag, and shaking, he starts to look like he's about to offer it to you when you see a few figures appearing behind him in the alleyway. It looks like a few ratkin with their weapons drawn. One of them has this light crossbow, kind of poised at the goblin at first, and then looks towards you all. And he says, "The item is mine. It is not yours to have."
We would beg to differ.
It would appear that we are at an impasse then, for the item will be ours. But I have but one question for you, Ratman.
And what is that?
What do you sound like when you scream?
His eyes start to grow wide as he starts to like raise the crossbow towards you. Looks like he's about to attack you, but Halaha, you can go ahead and take your actions if you like from your
Oh yes, she definitely will. Are there any negatives from the running to attack with spells?
-2.
That's fine. She is going to cast a spell.
You can spend an action to concentrate and take away that -2 actually, but
True. Yeah, she'll do that. And let's see. I don't think Tevin can do anything, unfortunately. Yeah, she'll cast a bone spear towards probably one of the rat men with the crossbow. And yeah, she'll do a concentration check on that one. So hopefully, no negatives. 14.
I have to tie your undead to an actual character.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Fizz. That's the one you shot at.
I did indeed.
He is hit.
So use concentration. I'm guessing that does that add to the damage like a heavy
No.
attack? No. Okay.
Mm.
That's this bone spear. No modifier. So
Oh, only level
Oh
1.
Christ! Could you imagine heavy attack magic? Are you kidding me?
amazing.
Oh, that's
only.
so nice though.
Mm-hmm. She casts out the bone spear, striking him in the side.
And that looks like enough to knock him off too. So he hits
And
the ground.
as he hits the ground, she looks to the goblin. If you'd not like to die like your friends, I suggest you hand the thing over now, and we'll spare you.
Do you want your undead to do anything?
Can he double move just to get in there?
Oh, that's as far as you can get. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, not yet.
not yet. Yeah,
But do
he's-
you want him to though? You like giving him an order to attack?
Yeah, she points forward and points towards the goblin and says, "If he does not hand over the item, attack. If not, move to the one I attacked."
It is. It is, sir.
Can't hear Danish.
Whoops, sorry, muted. I am going to move over to the little goblin here, grab my hammer off the grounds, and then come up to this one and say, "Your bodies will be fitting tribute to Fidruha," as I bring the hammer down on its little rat-like body.
Awesome. You can one action to grab the hammer, second action to hit, or you can burn a frenzy to make it a heavy attack, which means if you hit him, it does ×2 damage.
Yeah, I'll try that.
Frenzy are like you can burn them for extra attacks. Sometimes burn them to activate abilities and stuff. It's the little red thing. You only have 2. They go away for the whole combat. They don't regenerate. They're basically the only point system that doesn't regenerate. You have to buy more of them with your experience when you get rewarded. But
Okay, yeah, I'll give it a try.
all right. So when you hit attack, just go ahead and hit the stone hammer,
Okay.
and he will have to match or beat your roll.
Ugh, shit.
Oh, not 1.
Oh boy.
He tries to defend. And
Yep.
he does. We have to see what happened with your fumble. So you just click on that melee button there. Oh,
That's not good.
Oh no!
all right.
Just don't roll the way all the rats are.
There's the
For
scatter
God
table.
forbid, the goblin.
You click on direction and distance.
He's gonna hit me with the fucking.
Oh my God, he is.
The backswing.
Range is
Oh shit!
He is gonna hit you.
That is basically just right there.
I'm sorry.
Oh my God, I love it.
You picked the right person to take it,
That's true.
so.
Actually, go ahead, Rattles, and just make a dex check. Your target number is 6.
Oh no. You can do it, right?
No.
Can you? Oh my God.
Oh.
So the backswing catches him. Go ahead and roll the stone hammer damage.
It's a halved or full.
Yeah, he's giving you a bit of leeway already.
This is fair. I'm good either way. It doesn't matter.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
That's my toughness would take it.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so I'm rolling like shit now. Good. I'm falling into my normal
It just
swing of things.
tinks off of his bone.
Alright.
We all start somewhere.
Yes.
And usually it's dealing 7 damage with a stone
Ah.
hammer after you miss.
Well, at least it wasn't
Yeah.
his first attack was a 1. He did
Don't
actually
worry.
hit somebody.
I'm gonna do worse shortly.
Oh, yeah.
I got you.
I mean, hey, at least you're in the combat.
True. So yeah, Rattles. He gets hit by the hammer, and like one of the rib bones fractures a bit, but he doesn't seem to mind, and he just kind of pushes through anyone who's in his way, and he's going to the one that was pointing the crossbow at him. He's just going to try to double overhand to smash him while he's on the ground.
Nice.
Heavy attack.
And he's on the ground. He suffers a -1. $11 coming down on him. That's a hit.
And ×2. I have to remove my strength mod, so I'm gonna do -3.
Ah,
3 or 4, yeah, because I'm Seek.
that
Right.
is rough.
Let me make sure it's not mine, because it might be minus. That's -4 actually.
Six damage. That's with ×2.
There should be more. For some reason, it's not.
You rolled unarmed.
Yeah, no, it's unarmed, but I get a +3 as well from being Bony Boy, so it should be 3 plus.
It's
Should be,
times two?
it should be 12. Yeah. Why it's not counting it? I'll roll a sheet next time, but yeah,
Wow.
it should be 12.
Oh, I know it. I know it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, 12. 12 is enough to take him out. So what's that look like?
Yeah, so Rattles kind of pushes through, and it's basically just it's like when you squeeze a ketchup bottle to get the ketchup out really hard, but it's a rat man instead, and so he just smashes him and just kind of just ribs, just below the ribs, and just busts him open basically, all bloody in the back alley here. No concern at all for.
All right. Stone hammer swung at him, ducked luckily, and he is going to try to cut with his short sword. Slice him twice. 2 quick attacks at Adeus. So for this, Adeus, you're going to hit your defense button, and you can choose either dodge or you can use block with melee, because or if you have a shield, you can block with shield. Or you can parry and deflect. If you parry and deflect, it's a little bit harder to do, but you gain a what's called an attack tally, and it gives you an extra +1 to hit him next attack at him. But it's up to you. You can blocking with your shield is definitely the way to go, I think.
Yeah, I tried to go big and that didn't end well. So
Nice. That first cut hits your shield. Second cut is 7. And if at any time you roll a crit on your defense, you get a riposte attack back at him. So he cuts at you twice, quickly, moving quickly, but you're able to defend with your shield. The goblin looks both ways, and it appears that he's thinking about running for a moment, like he's looking for a way to escape, but he looks at Halaha and kind of changes his mind about it, looking towards the rats and seeing how the battle fares at least a little bit longer. He does start to crawl a little bit out of the way of the fight. It's your turn, Halaha.
Yeah. Probably in
Oh,
combat.
wait.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't do the other guys.
Hmm.
Stitch. Stitch is going to fire one shot at Rattles.
God damn.
Yeah, as the arrow, he sees the rat man getting ready to fire, and he turns a bit. The arrow skims off his shoulder and into one of the walls.
The other one runs up with a short. And he's going to do a heavy attack with this short sword at Rattles.
Here we go. You got this. Easy peasy.
Probably not.
Oh. Fuck.
Stop jinxing it.
It's good old Aki luck.
I love it. Oh shit. Oh my god!
It's your fault.
Oh my
You just need to
god!
not say anything. Incredibly, that does not knock me over.
Fucking shit.
That is 26, I think, after.
Nice. Yeah. He moves quick and comes in and like plunges the dagger in between some ribs. And now it's supposed to be Hala's turn, yeah?
Yep.
All right. Halaha. She comes over to the goblin and says, "Give me the item, and I will protect you. You have 30 seconds."
He looks at you with hope in his eyes. There's a vial liquid bag. You notice there's something else in that bag too, but it looks like that's what he's producing for you. As his hand's kind of shaking as he's in pain from his broken leg.
Yeah, so he's only giving me the item, right? He's not giving me what else is in the bag?
Right. It
Okay.
seems like he's holding the bag.
Yeah, she'll take the item from him and say, "Don't worry. I don't break my promises." And she'll cast as her second action. Oh, I should have done. I forgot to do the chant thing last round.
Battle chant.
Battle chant, so I need to do that really quick. I'll do it after. I'll do it twice. She'll cast another bone spear at Biglet here. And hopefully I hit. She'll do. Oh wait, no, she can't do concentration because that was one action. No, she'll do concentration and she'll do frenzy point for it. So she'll
Cool,
plus
that'd be
2 to hit.
perfect.
Yeah, 11, unfortunately. Ooh. Ooh, bitch. Okay.
He's looking at. He was busy with the blade and.
Mm-hmm. 12.
Oh.
Beautiful.
That was enough to knock him down.
Yeah, it strikes Biglet, and you hear it's this very low, very unnerving, unnatural growl as Tevin will sprint across the battlefield and go after. Let's see, she'll go after Gibbles since he's right there. And he doesn't have any bonuses to hit at all, so I'll roll a d20 for him. 19.
Oh, nice.
Damn.
And we'll say it's a heavy attack too.
Oh, definitely. He's all about the heavy attacks. Boy.
He's in the middle of fighting a melee with Adea, so he is also
It would be
caught off guard.
yeah, it would be a -2 just for running. But he does hit. So he does a d6 of damage because it's unarmed, but I think the cestus gives him an extra d6.
2d6
So,
times 2.
yeah. D6 2.
Put the exclamation
Ooh!
points.
Wait, oh, it's more! I roll one more. I didn't hit the
Yeah, the exclamation point.
1d6. Oh! Holy
What does it
shit!
look like
You
as he
just
tears him apart?
Fucking
you
hell.
just see the only one who knows that he's, of course, undead is my beautiful, beautiful companion bodyguard. So you just see Tevin sprint across the battlefield with almost this disturbing howl, and just start ripping and tearing into gibbles, turning into giblets, as he just massacres this rat. And that's his turn.
Adeus.
Nice. How far did my stone hammer fly?
It's right there.
Okay.
Yeah, you just hit Rattles in the chest and it hit
Yeah, I
the ground,
didn't know if
basically.
it did like the cool anime thing and just bounced into a crowd or some
Bonk.
shit like that.
Just like
Uh,
50 meters up in the air and crashes into the ground. Point first,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. I'll turn around and grab it. Is Viglet still conscious?
He is alive. He's starting to get back up and looks shocked at his friend getting ripped apart. But he has a bone spear in him as well. But he's not looking so hot. But yeah, you can still get him.
Yeah, we ain't letting him get up, so I'm gonna bring the hammer down. I'm just gonna do a general. God damn. Oh.
Oh, that's a hit.
Oh my god!
I was not
So-
expecting
Oh my
that.
god!
I was
boy.
expecting that.
That's enough to kill him, though. What's that look like?
So as he's trying to wrench himself free of the bone spear, I just look down at him and shake my head and say, "You'll make a beautiful corpse," and bring the hammer down on his head. Kick him to the side, and then I will do 1, 2, step over next to Stitch.
Oh yeah, you didn't use Frenzy, did you?
Yeah, he's got frenzy. And
Could use frenzy,
I
I
don't
dare,
think
sir.
he did.
No, I mean you could use it, and you
Yeah,
can hit
exactly.
again if you'd like.
Oh,
hmm
sure.
frenzy left.
Yeah, I have. I've only
Frenzy's
spent
great.
one, so yeah, I will attack then again. Fuck.
Man, but you never know. He's not the
Might
last
still be
guy.
enough.
Yeah, unless he rolls like a 20 or something.
Or a
Aki,
9.
shut up.
Hate him.
Oh,
Hey,
God. Oh, God.
Get some
Acting over there,
explosions.
jinxing it.
This is Maddie's
Oh
not the
my
combat.
God,
Oh my
what
god!
was wrong with me?
37!
777, baby! You get XP boost for
Enough
that.
to knock him down.
So yeah, I come up and I just low swing the hammer, and I'm leg aiming today apparently for people. So yeah, I take him out at the knees too.
And then it is Rattles.
Yeah, so Rattles moves toward. He's just gonna step over the corpse, or through it even, of the rat man he killed. He's gonna pull out the short sword that was stuck in his ribs as its wielder died abruptly, and he's gonna try to finish off this little rat man. Heavy strike. lots of 7s today.
Christ, oh my god.
And then I'll use 2 frenzy to try to do it again.
The heavy crush. Suffering.
Oh, rip.
Exact same thing.
Ah,
I got nothing else. That's it. It's just being squirrely or ratty, I guess.
the rat's turn. He is going to try to escape. He does not have any special talents or abilities to help him do this. So it's basically just a, oh shit. And he's trying to get up and run or roll away from you guys, which means you both get a single attack at him. Adeus, you probably go first. If you want to try to swing your hammer or whatever, you can try to grab him or whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I'll say third time's a charm for this damn hammer. There we go.
I'll say.
That's a crit. Suffer an outnumbered modifier and on the ground. So he is hit, and when it comes up for the power damage, like it's after modifier, and it comes up with power, just put a 2 in there and hit enter for your hammer damage.
Hey, look at that, double 7s.
What's that look like as he dies?
As he starts to turn around and flee, I bring the hammer up and I just crack it right on his spine. There's this sick snap that just shoots up into the air as he just crumples down into the floor. I'll look back over to Halaha. Priestess, the corpses are yours.
She claps idly. She looks down at the goblin, and she actually offers her hand to him. Come, I'll help you.
He looks terrified, of course.
I'm assuming there's people who are coming now.
Yes, you do notice it has grown. Some onlookers are starting to gather in the alleyway.
Yeah, Halaha is going to look at Tevin and say, "Grab the goblin. We're getting out of here." And she's immediately going to turn heel and just start leaving. Cause luckily it's only this guy who saw her, right?
Yeah, that homeless-looking guy
Oh,
has been
he's
watching.
yeah. She
for a
pulls
while.
out basically 2 silver and puts in his hands, and she just says, "Still no one knows here," and she's just gonna continue walking by, very casually. As all the groups of people are like over here, she's just gonna leave this way.
Awesome. What are you guys doing?
Rattles will he'll rip a piece of robe and wrap it around just basically stuff it into his stab wound. He'll see everybody gathering and he'll draw the cloak deeper and start to make haste away.
You notice a couple of the weapons and stuff on the ground. Not bother with any of them or any of
No.
the things. Just take off, yeah?
In a hurry.
Yeah.
With this, what happened?
And as you guys take off, we flash back to the scene where... Sorry, man.
30 minutes ago.
Your own fault.
I really should have run after you. I thought
Uh-huh.
I might stand a chance that I thought maybe like, oh, it'll be in here. Maybe it'll be like a red herring chase and we'll end up back here at the end. You never know. I was like, whatever. It makes sense. I was a fucking weird enough person. So yeah, he's gonna see what this guy has in stock, I guess.
I think that was where we left off there. Yep.
Pretty much just heading in. He was gonna show me the special stock because I'm a lucky boy and it's my birthday.
Yeah, the coin came up good for you. And he says, Yes, right this way. And he moves the tent flap out of the way for you, and lets you come on in. Um, Inside, you see several different types of incense burning, and immediately you feel revitalized from this incense. Like you being an alchemist as well, know what it is. It's something to kind of enhance your mana, your mana pool, and the incense burning while you meditate. You've heard of it before, And he says, I have many potions and powders, and you could be what in the hell? What in the hell? And he starts
Yeah,
to look around for
Ivo is about
something.
to take a big deep breath of the incense, and he kind of looks. Is something wrong?
There's something missing. And he goes over to a spot where you can see on the table there's obviously a small space for something that's been moved, and probably a vial. And it's roughly the size of the empty spot there, where there's other vials there, different colors. Most of them are labeled, and you can see that some of them offer healing and mana enhancement and stuff like that. And he says, someone has been in here stealing. And then he looks towards you, kind of suspicious look crossing his face.
He kind of looks Jamek over. You can strip me if you wish. I'm not exactly a thief. Besides, I was only just arriving. You don't think it has something to do with the ruckus you were... kind of alluding to the situation earlier with them chasing off after somebody.
And then he contemplates this for a moment, and he says, the dark elf woman. Perhaps she had something to do with this.
Regardless. Does this mean you don't have any goods? I swear, it's hard to find a reasonable source, and judging from the incense, you actually know what you're talking about, which is unique.
And he seems very disturbed, very annoyed, and kind of distant now as he's starting to think about his missing item. And he lifts the door back open, and he says, I have many items. Perhaps it would be best if you come back later.
Ivor gives him a bit of a nod. Very well. I take it was something quite important you lost.
Yes, it was, and there will be hell to pay if I do not return it.
My. Truly. He kind of makes to leave. Well, I suppose if you are ever in need of assistance, I may be for hire. Or
Who
may
are
know
you?
something. Me? Simple alchemist. He gives him a nod. If you have need of my services, I work as a sort of mercenary, I suppose. Problem solver of sorts sometimes. We'll see, though. For now, it looks like you have something else to deal with. And he'll kind of head on out and back to the market. Start kind of keeping an eye out for the others. It looks like they've probably caught up with the other guys, so he'll head that general direction.
All right. And where would you guys have gone from that moment?
I think Halaha, she has the item, and Tevin is basically carrying the goblin with the broken legs. As she's kind of winded through a number of different alleyways to make them less suspicious, come out into a busy place with quite a lot of people. She looks over to Rattles and Rhina. What should we do with the goblin? I would be most content on seeing exactly who he was working for, get an idea. Maybe keep him around.
Submit him to the guild. Let them make the decision. And improve the look of yourself for your new patrons.
Malaha looks over with slightly lidded eyes to Rattles and says, "You have the best ideas, Rattles."
It is a simple notion. I'm sure any would come to such conclusion.
You flatter me. We shouldn't head. You shouldn't lead the way to the guild. We can deliver this. Say that the three of us finish the job and get paid.
I believe I can find it. I will try to go the back streets to avoid further suspicion.
Good. Lead the way, Rattles.
And I will take the lead and we'll head back to the church.
All right. As time, Ivo, you don't seem to find them, but looking around in the direction that they went off in, you know, if you keep going in that direction, you'll hit eventually the moat and the Red Keep area. So you definitely don't want to head that way.
Yeah. Does he find the kind of scuffle area where they were?
Make a perception check. It'd probably be a pretty high check, but
All right, fair. Yeah, I figure. It's probably a
we'll
pretty
say at
busy
12.
place.
We'll say at 12. Target 12.
Nah, yeah.
Yeah, not even close enough.
No, yeah,
to,
not seeing them. Then I guess he's going back for one last look at the slave auction. They know that's the area he was hanging
Of
out, so I
course.
guess they know that's where he was. That's the last place he was around. So if they end up looking for him, that's where they'd probably look, is back in that area of the market, the place
Okay.
where they first entered. So he'll go back around there, look around, check out, buy an apprentice or maybe a book or something.
All right. This one is for the group going back to the tower or to the temple, and then this one is for, these are random encounter chances. This one is for Io, who does have something happen.
What was what? Sorry.
All right. You head back to the iron market, right?
Yes. I was just gonna. He figures, you know, it's one of those classics. You know, if you get lost, just stay put. He figures that's the last place they really saw him. So that's probably, if they end up looking for him, that's probably where they're looking. If they're not there within like a couple of hours, he'll try scouting them around some more and then head back to the temple. But yeah, he heads back to the iron market. He'll see about that. See if they've got any good deals for something that would work as an apprentice for him or an assistant of some kind. It's useful having someone to run the shop, if he's able to eventually afford a shop. Have someone to run one for him while he's away.
You notice a scuffle in an alleyway as you're passing by back towards the iron market. You get almost into the main area of it, and you see you notice the sound of like a table get knocked over, and you see some liquid spill across the sand in the street, and you catch it just in time to see someone grabbing a female and putting their hand over her mouth and dragging her into a doorway, and she's fighting as much as possible. She looks like maybe she could be a prostitute, as the way she's dressed, and someone is dragging her into a doorway. Do you bother anything with that, or?
He's curious. Does she or anyone else? Does he see the person grabbing her or anything, or do they just kind of go into the door and then she's being pulled in, basically?
You do notice that he looks like he's wearing brown, really rags, pretty much, brown tabard. He looks pretty dirty. a cut across his face and knife cut hair, kind of dirty blonde. No real details other than that, as he's maybe a knife on his belt, but yeah, he looks like a dirty
A
roguish type.
knife or a dagger? Is it a shiny knife?
It's in its sheath right now. He doesn't have it pulled out.
That's enough. That's something. He'll make money off of it now. That's all he needed. Yeah, he sees it and he kind of heads over. Is everything quite all right?
And the girl stops struggling for a moment as he stops as well, and he looks over her shoulder at you, and he's like, "Fuck off, freak. This one is mine."
He lights him on fire. You shouldn't have fucking called him a freak. That was rude. Fire for you.
All right, bust out the.
Yeah, Ivo reaches out forward and, like the fucking psychopath he is, there's kind of this warmth from his back, actually, when he uses his ignite spell, as, a couple of marks, here and there on the massive tattoo that covers his back rather ornately begin to kind of glow this kind of low light as he burns the dude. Just no sympathy, nothing whatsoever. I mean, the guy probably deserves it anyway, whatever, right? As just the flames begin to erupt around around his robes or cloak or whatever have you, and he'll kind of pull the woman back and away from him while the guy deals with the fire.
All right. Well, go ahead and roll the attack, actually.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, I have a button for this now, don't I?
The ignite, yeah.
Ignite and douse. Nice.
And he does not look like in the best condition either, so he's
I believe it's 2d6 fire.
yes. 2d6 times 2, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah.
Is that what it is for?
I believe so.
Let me see.
Yeah, I think it starts off strong and never scales. Like, it just 2d6 times 2, always.
Oh shit! I didn't realize it was times 2.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and that one doesn't. Yeah, like he said, that one doesn't scale at all. So it's nice. It's a nice starting spell, but
Yeah, it's a. I mean, it's useful. I mean, because it can put out the same amount of area, so you can light someone on fire, put it out, But
so
just
you can do
generally
spell
speaking.
effect. You can hit the spell effect button and then ignite, and then when it comes to power, just put 2 in there.
Spell effects, ignite and douse. Modifier, you said what?
No
Oh, power.
modifier, but when it comes to power, you put 2.
Okay, power 2. Okay,
That-
16.
That is enough.
Yeah.
To severely
Oh my God.
wound him.
Good.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, so-
Go ahead.
Oh yeah. Is that enough to pretty much clear him if I then finish him off?
He's not gonna. Yeah, he's not dead, but he's not gonna fight you. He falls back and he's putting himself out and screaming. He's really
Yeah.
hurt.
Ivo just, the flames come up and he's like dealing with it. The burns are really intense. And Ivo kind of pulls, I forgot, he didn't get a bow because he has a sling. He kind of pulls it and there's this kind of a small pebble which he's kind of coated in various things, kind of mud, feces, stuff like that. And it's sharp, right? It's the type of thing to cause, gangrenous wounds, disease, stuff like that over the long term, to make sure whoever you hit with it is probably going to have a very bad time. As he just stands over the man as the flames kind of get higher, swinging the sling around and finally releases, and there's this tunk, and then he casts a douse, and the flames go out, and he looks at the woman. "Are you quite all right?"
She seems very shocked, and comes.
She what?
She comes over to you immediately and tries to hug you.
He doesn't stop her. He's got no reason to.
Yeah, and she says, "Thank you so much."
Of course. You don't mind if I have his dagger, do you?
No, Of course not.
My thanks. And he's kind of, she's like hugging him, and he's kind of with his hands kind of up either side, not knowing where to put them or what to do. As he just kind of puts one on her head. Well then, I am Ivo. You are
I am Lana.
Lana. Very well. And he kind of steps over. The flame is all out now, of course, using Dows. He looks the guy over, looks if he has anything of use, grabs the knife.
He's twitching in pain, very burnt, very, very burnt, like to the trauma state of burnt. And he's like immobile. He can't even really talk. Like he's trying to say, please, please, plead for his life or something, but nothing's really coming out but a bunch of jumbled dribble. And
Yeah, Ivo actually would kind of shut up. And he kind of, punches him in the stomach as he's kind of leaning down over him, and he pulls the knife from the belt and everything, and begins taking anything the guy has, pretty much, even vaguely of value. Everything's useful. He then stands and looks back at Lana. I think that's what it was, right?
Lana, yes.
Yeah.
She says, she says, can I come with you? I am yours for the night.
I suppose that is quite suitable then. Very well, if you would. He'll offer a hand to lead her away.
And you got 9 silver and a dagger from that goon.
Sweet. And a whore for the night.
Ooh, ooh.
And scene flashes back to the others.
You said it was 6 silver and a dagger?
9 silver.
9 silver. Even better. Nice. Thank you.
Move you guys here. Taking the goblin into the temple.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. To the temple. Let me move you guys to this location here. Hopefully you can see this room.
Yes.
As you arrive to the old bookstore, you notice the bookkeeper, as they call him, is quiet, old. He lets you guys in. He looks about like this. He doesn't bother you at all. He knows who some of you are anyway. You enter in through a secret passage behind some of the bookshelves, down some stone steps into the place called the Temple of the Eternal Raven. You notice on the walls in here, the temple, it's kind of cold in here and dimly lit. It has kind of an ancient feel to it, like it's been here much longer than even the guild has. You notice some figures in the shadows watching, a few looking down from the banisters and the walkways underneath their hoods, watching you with crossbows, not poised at you, but at the ready. And you see Otep come walking out. As you cross over a strange symbol on the ground here, it looks like this thing has the means, like gears and everything around it. It looks like this whole floor could open, perhaps, but it looks like a summoning chamber as it is right now. Carved into the rock or into the concrete there, this stone slab. You see runes and magical symbols where one could put candles at the end of every point of the star, and it looks very, very like nicely made. And you, Halaha, have definitely seen this type of work before. In fact, I think it was that caused the problems with your family.
Oh, yeah. She looks down, sees the floor, how it's shaped, carvings, and she smiles and thinks to herself,
We'll try again at some point. This time will be successful.
but she looks over, kind of waiting for them to be addressed. You there, Rob?
I've been talking this whole time.
Oh no! Okay, go ahead.
Oh,
Figured.
Yeah.
we haven't heard shit.
I told this really cool, elaborate story.
Oh, please tell again.
So, no,
It's
it
the
wasn't that
worst.
cool. Otep walks out of the shadows. You can see the mage Darius with him, one of the highest ranking. Valeus, a shadow elf. He's on the far right. He's a swords master. He moves very agilely as he approaches. Grass in the center. He's a mutant. These look like they're more of the high rank here of the Arcane Malefactorum. Yolor, quietly standing, not saying anything, standing about 9-10 feet tall. And Otep says, "You have brought a friend."
Yes, this one. He attempted to take the item that we wanted to acquire. Apparently, he was trying to acquire it for a group of rat kin. We do not know all the information from him yet, but we decided to bring him back and have you decide his fate. If you will leave it in our hands, we will happily decide his fate as well.
Very interesting. Leia kind of and looks at all of you, kind of like a distasteful look on his face as he walks back and forth and says, "So you decided to bring him here, to our home?"
It was on my recommendation. We do not know for whom he works. We thought this information may be valuable to the organization.
Valeus pulls a blade out like super fast, spins it around and points at the goblin's face. And he says, "I know who he works for. He works for the desert flea bags, the obsidian scythe. He cannot leave here alive, for he will tell them where our home is located." And
Halaha shrugs and looks to Tevin and just says, "Dispose of him." And it's more cinematically, I think Tevin would just kind of, as he's holding the goblin, he would just start crushing him and then the cestus and his own clawed nails just start tearing at him as he's pinning him close to his chest. No hesitation.
As the goblin screams and dies horribly, Veleus, like, you can see maybe a little smile, a little smirk on his face as he looks over at you, Halaha. And then he turns and he walks away. And Otep nods to you all, and he says, "And the item."
Yes, I have it.
And she produces the item, holding it out, and she says,
Reineth, Rattles and I acquired this item. Ivo was busy shopping, I think.
Grass looks over at you at that. And he's like, "Shopping? He did not help you?"
I assume this is because he was not the one being tested. But as far as I could see, he did not assist much.
she looks over to Rattles.
I do not know if you saw anything.
I believe he lacked faith in the ability to maintain the merchant's attention. He might have intended to create a different distraction, but I cannot be certain. Such things were not revealed to me when I spoke with him.
And Grass points like directly at Deusser and says, "What of this one? What did he do?"
Rattles looks at Adeus.
He is capable. The rat men, they attempted to fight us for the item. He slew 2 of them.
I also prevented the goblin from fleeing further.
Indeed.
You notice one come out of the shadows. Says he did well. He did his job, as did they all. And he looks over at Halaha, and he flicks the gold talon back to you, and winks at you.
And she smiles and catches it out of the air and nods to Koto.
You are quite the crafty one, Kinsman.
He bows to you. And with that, we will finish tonight's episode. Da, da, da.